Hello, people, and welcome to the CX Centric podcast, where we talk to customer experience leaders from around the world. Today, I interview Michelle.Spaul about creating business cases for customer experience initiatives. Michelle is a customer experience and change consultant, guiding leaders who use customer experience for business growth. She believes that successful customer experience management engages people, culture, and governance before data and before IT. Her time in the corporate arena has taught her the value of building compelling business cases for customer experience. So let's get into this. Glad to have you on the podcast. Probably we should start off, maybe you can give us a glimpse of your personal life to start off.
Well, I work from home most of the time, so my personal life at the moment is fantastic because my partner is also working from home and he brings me cups of tea, I don't know, every couple of hours. Don't know when he gets any work done.
Yeah, I think a lot of people now, they're all working from home, especially with this corona situation. Things are a bit tricky. Where exactly are you based? Maybe you want to just let people know.
I'm in the East Midlands, just right in the centre of England, basically.
Okay, sounds exciting. Glad to have you on board. So maybe you can let us know, start off just by letting us know, what are you passionate about?
But I love making change, and I love making change because I want things to be better. I want things to be better for people mainly, and that means helping businesses be better. But my interest extends out to making the environment better, social benefit, all sorts of different things. I mean, for example, one of the things I do is I volunteer on a helpline for people who are less comfortable with digital technology and help them use it.
Excellent, excellent. And what is it like on that helpline? What are the most frequent sort of questions that or challenges people have?
I think the challenge a lot of people have, because we're focused on vulnerable people, is that the people around them start getting a little bit frustrated with them. So we hear, thank you for being patient all the time. And I understand it because, I think we all get impatient with people we know. But one of the things we do at April is that we are there to help people. So there's absolutely no point in getting impatient.
Okay, that sounds excellent. I think, in today's fast-moving society, it's tricky because, we just want things instant. That's just the way things are. So, yes, listeners, if you're out there, try and, give some extra time to people who need it. If your friends and family, if they're having problems with digital, just spend some time. If you understand how to use certain software and programs, just give them the time, put the effort in. It makes a difference. These little few moments that you can help.
Or give us a call via myapril.co.uk.
Even easier. Okay, maybe we can put the link in the show notes.
That'd be brilliant, thank you.
Okay, cool. So today we're going to talk about starting off customer experience programs, customer experience transformations, and business cases. So I'm really happy to have you here. I think we should start off with just probably the common challenges. So I know, Michelle, you're experienced in this area, writing business cases, setting up projects, getting them started. I know a lot of people are having problems in this area, especially in terms of proving that there's a return on investment, etc. So maybe you can start off with the challenges with initiating a customer experience program.
Well, it's a great question. It's really important. And one of the things that I think is most important is understanding the difference between program and project. I mean, you and I have discussed that quite a lot. A project is a discrete piece of work. It has a beginning and an end, and it has quite a bounded delivery. A program is bigger. It has kind of tentacles. It goes all over the place, and it's about strategic change. So a program includes lots of projects, but it includes other things as well. So the first business case you have to write is for a program, and some of the activities in the program don't deliver benefits. You need to be setting up experiments to understand how you can improve your customer experience. You're going to be collecting data. You're going to be setting up governance.
Yeah.
And they just don't have a return on investment. So the first thing you have to do is actually win hearts and minds. The hearts and minds piece is the vital piece.
Yeah.
Win hearts and minds and convince people that CX has the potential to improve business and that a program is necessary to make the change. And I think that's where people fall down. They quite often leap straight into projects. They think about the finances and they forget very much that they're actually fighting for budgets that other people have got their eyes on.
I see. So what would you say are the common mistakes that people make when starting off a business case?
Well, I see it a lot, and I think you and I have discussed this as well. People assuming that customer experience is a no-brainer, and that it's the obvious thing to do, and that if you do customer experience, the world will be good. But as I already mentioned, businesses have priorities, and there are lots of things competing for that same pool of money. So, R&D, setting up offices, digitally transforming, there's all sorts of things, and you really do have to show people that CX is valuable to the business and get them to believe it.
Okay, excellent. I like that. And yeah, I've seen it so much. Like people just say, yeah, it's common sense. We need to put our customers first.
Yeah.
And they use this sort of terminology. So I really like what you said there. I think it would be great if you could share maybe a few tips or best practice for initiating the business case. People might be in the situation now where they're setting up a customer experience program or some sort of project or initiative. They've got to produce a business case. What tips can you give them to help them on their journey?
I think the most important thing is listen and learn. Whilst you as a person, a specialist setting up a project, got some great ideas, the people in the business know where the real value is going to be generated and where the pitfalls are going to be. So absolutely listen and learn. Adapt your plan, adapt your case, adapt your approach to make it more valuable for the business and to get the support of those people you've spoken with.
I like that one.
I think that's the most important. The thing is, when you're listening, you're going to hear a lot of negative stuff. You're going to hear all sorts of people saying it's just not the right way to go. So my second tip is be supportive but firm. Most people do care about their work and the customer. They just have different ways of expressing themselves. So don't be afraid to push the cynics and naysayers to understand their concerns and bring them on board.
When you say one thing, when you mention listen and learn, who do we need to listen to exactly?
Well, it's the people in the business. It's the people in the business, and then the people in the business, and then probably the people in the business. My version of location. Obviously, you do need to listen to customers, but your customers, unless the customers have a lever on your board, the customers can't influence the decision to make a CX program. It's the people in your business. So build that group of advocates, build that kind of consensus for the need to change, and build into your case for change real life examples of how a less well designed customer experience is compromising the business's vision.
Okay, so that's what we're looking for, examples of where a negative customer experience or a poor customer experience is leading to an organization not being as effective in terms of delivering on their strategy, basically.
That's actually probably the most important, but you're also listening for the aspects of change that people, this tool doesn't work. If this tool was just a little bit better, I would be able to do all these things. So, instead of, you can scale the launch, you can prioritize where you need to improve the business.
Yeah.
And you get all those little tidbits of risk and concerns that you can build into your business case and make it stronger from the beginning.
I love that. Thank you for that. I think do you have any more tips? Because actually, Michelle, we need as many tips as possible here. You've given a few, but I'm pretty sure
Well,
you've
I
got some more.
obviously mentioned be supportive and firm. I think the thing is, a lot of people think when you're listening that you're becoming a bit of a pushover.
Yeah,
You've got to be supportive. That goes without saying, but that doesn't mean you have to be a rollover. Be firm and really work out how it is you can bring the cynics on board. But to be honest with you, my experience is the more you listen to people, the more that they're willing to listen to you.
okay, so tips for dealing with cynics. It's really just about listening and hearing their concerns.
And then taking action.
Okay, and taking action.
I mean, you listen and you take and you respect their concerns,
Yeah,
and you might be able to resolve them without doing anything differently. But you might also find that their concerns could bring your whole project down.
yeah,
So, if somebody's telling you a piece of software doesn't work the way you think it works, or a department's currently overworked, and if you change the way they're working, you won't support customers for a month. You can improve your project outcomes by listening and taking action.
100%. Love that, Michelle. Thank you very much for that.
You and I have talked about quick wins. I really like Icon and your framework. And I think one of the things that we've discussed in the past is this whole idea of having quick wins. They really capture people's imagination. They show that it's valuable, and they give you data. They give you the data you need to write that business case. And again, that's the difference between a project and a program. You have to win hearts and minds to be able to run the quick wins, to then get the business case to run a fuller project. So my next tip is be patient. Just
Yeah,
that little thing of each step you have to take to get buy-in takes patience. But you also have to be patient with barriers to change. I mean, when you go into any organization, you're going to hear people say, we don't need that. We deliver great CX. Or it's a bit fluffy. There's no business benefits. That's one I hear a lot. Or we get better returns elsewhere. Or, well, we tried it once, didn't work. It's not for us.
yeah.
So you're going to hear all of those things, and you have to be patient. As long as you're listening, being supportive, and building in quick wins, you can overcome those barriers.
100%. Thanks for that, Michelle. I love what you mentioned there, and you brought Icon into it. So, Icon is the transformation process created by myself for CX Centric. And yeah, quick wins. It's so important, like it's really crucial just to gain traction and to actually gain people's confidence in what you're doing, because so often as consultants, many consultants, they're good at talking, great at talking, excellent at talking, but people want to see something tangible. People want to feel that you've actually made a difference, and the earlier you can make a difference, the better for you, the better for your organization, and ultimately the better for the customers as well. So appreciate that. And finally, I think
Can I just come back on something you said there? Because you said that a lot of consultants talk, but they need to deliver action.
yes,
I'm going to reiterate that listen thing. It doesn't matter how experienced you are. When you walk into a new business, it's a new business, it's a new situation. If you don't listen to what that business needs, what those people need, you are going to fall flat on your face. It's why so
100%.
many transformations fail.
100%. So listen, listen, and listen again. Love
Yeah.
that, Michelle. Love that. And finally, you had another point on governance. Maybe you can share that with us also.
Well, as you said in my bio, I think governance is really important. Governance it sounds so boring, doesn't it? Governance is all the actions you have to put in place to support your project.
Yeah,
And I think, so for me, it's around building support. There's the mechanical aspects of governance, like project reporting and so on. That's a given. But if you use governance really well, you're creating supporters. Those supporters become your steering team, and they actually become advocates to the rest of the board and the senior managers. If you're reporting progress, you're going to build confidence in what you're doing. And as long as you're open in that and let people know when there are difficulties and ask for support, again, you're just building more advocacy. So for me, it's not about governance, but it's about open, honest governance. And finally, of course, you've got that whole demonstration of benefits. You need governance to demonstrate benefits, because to actually realize a lot of your benefits, you're going to have to make other changes in the organization. And if you haven't got governance, you can't make those other changes.
Wow, you touched on a lot of crucial points. I got one question, Michelle, because interestingly, there are a lot of people who say, "Oh, governance, that sounds boring. It's not interesting." But you're also one who said, "Governance, I love governance." So the question is, like, when you think about governance, where does this love and passion come from, and how can we, how can we reach out and try and change the minds and the hearts of people who are so against governance?
I think it's like a lot of subjects where you get people doing those subjects and they do it kind of mechanistically. I'm people-centered through and through, and why I love governance is I see it working when we
Yeah,
take a people-centered approach to it. If your governance is kind of like rock up once a month, put up a slide on PowerPoint, speak in a drone, walk out the room again, yeah, governance is boring. If your governance is, I personally like a little summary email to my steering group once a week.
yeah,
We've achieved this. These problems happened and we fixed them. Always a great way to build confidence. And I might need some help here. You walk into your steering group, and yeah, you've got a presentation up on the board, but the most important thing is you sit down and you have a conversation with people about what's going on.
yeah.
And if you're doing it really well, they're hearing from all the people you've been listening to and supporting what a great job your project is. So you're walking into a room of people who are absolutely your supporters, and they want to help you make it even better. And I can't think of a better person walking into a group of people and saying, "This is what's happening," and they go, "Yeah, it's great. Do you need a hand with this?" Wow, there's nothing boring about that.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love what you do there. I love how you manage to, instead of a board being some people who come and judge what you're doing and give you a red, amber, green, they're actually people who collaborate with you and share the problem with you and support you, and you support them as well. So, guys, if you're thinking about governance and thinking, "Oh, this is boring, this is not interesting," probably get in touch with Michelle, and she can always give you a hand with that. So thank you for that, Michelle. I think before we end, I mean, you mentioned to me before that you wrote a book. It was around the price of oil. I can't remember the exact title, but I would love for you to just share it. Just share what the book is, the title, what it's about briefly, because it's not to do with CX, but we just want to get to know a bit more about your background and what you do as a person.
Thanks, Jonathan. That's really cool. I have a really big interest in the environment, but also the economy, and like I said right at the start of the show, about making things better. And it struck me years ago, probably because I grew up in the 70s, so it's a subject that's there. That oil is intricated is a big part of both the environment and the economy. So I went and explored that a little bit more, and I shared what I learned in this book. It's called The Price of Oil.
The price of oil.
But
Nice.
it's subtitled The Volatile, Fickle, Unpredictable, Undependable Price of Oil. That's the bit that's harder to remember.
Okay.
And in that, I talk about all the different ways we use oil in our lives, and the steps we really do need to take oil and other fossil fuels out of our day-to-day existence, and give a whole range of great examples of people doing that today.
Okay. So it's about reducing our consumption of fossil fuels.
Yeah.
Okay. And is it about how we can replace them as well, or we focus on the
Oh
reduction?
no, I'm solution all the way. So, to be honest with you, I got so excited. I wrote this in 2014 and
Yeah.
published it in 2016. I got so excited at the number of different ways people were moving away from fossil fuels.
Okay.
Really excited, and that was what my editor advised me to trim quite a lot of because there was too much of it.
Oh.
So I had to give a bit of balance. There's a lot of history, there's a bit of science, there's some technology about how it is that we turn oil into paint, say, and then how we can reduce our dependence on oil for decorating our houses.
Okay, love that. So, what are the, okay, for someone having, going about their day-to-day life, what are the small changes that someone can make to try and reduce the amount of oil or fossil fuels they consume? Maybe just give a few, not, I know you can go on for ages.
I could go on for hours.
The top five, maybe, top five.
Um, I think a really satisfying, really immediate thing to do is to get a smart meter
Yeah.
and then go around your house and turn off everything that's on standby, all the things you just don't need, electronic picture frames, TVs that don't need to be on standby because they're in the spare room, all those kind of things. Change your light bulbs. Really get to know and love your smart meter. I think they're fabulous. We as a result of getting our smart meter, replaced a lot of halogen bulbs to LEDs.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we let our fridge carrying on running until it was 18 years old because it wasn't using any more electricity. And then when it started using more electricity, that was when we upgraded
Okay.
to a more effective fridge. So smart meter is probably my number one because, like I say, it's really immediate and you kind of get that warm glow that you're doing something good.
Sounds good. So, guys, if you haven't got one already, go and grab your smart meter. I'm not sure how much they cost, or maybe.
You have to buy them. They're completely free in the UK. If you speak to your electricity and gas supplier, they will come and fit them for you.
Okay, excellent. So those in the UK is free. Go and grab it. So yeah, appreciate that, Michelle. So what's the name of the book again? Just probably put it up on the screen one more time for those who are watching.
The book is The Volatile, Fickle, Unpredictable, Undependable Price of Oil.
Okay, love it, love it. Lovely cover as well for those listening. It is a cool cover. So, Michelle, really appreciate your time today. Really nice to speak to you. Always good to speak to another customer experience leader anyway. But so the question is, how can we get in touch with you?
Well, like the rest of the world, the fastest way is through LinkedIn. There's only 2 Michelle.Spaul's on there, and I'm the customer experience one.
Okay,
But if
excellent.
you prefer other methods, I'm more than happy to email, phone, text, or WhatsApp. All my details are on LinkedIn, and Jonathan's going to put them on the page for this podcast.
Okay, perfect. Michelle, thank you very, very much for your time. It was really, really nice to engage with you, learning about building business cases and starting up and initiating customer experience projects and initiations and initiatives and programs. So appreciate that, Michelle. Any last words for the listeners before we end this?
It doesn't matter where you are in the world today. It doesn't matter what situation you're in. CX remains really important. So if you don't look after your customers today, they're even more likely than normal to walk away.
Agreed. 100% agreed. Thank you very much for that, Michelle.
Welcome.
Take care.
You too.